Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I want to talk to you about Thor Ragnarok. Now, before we get into it, I know what you're thinking. Cynicalex, you're wearing the same shirt as the previous video. I know. However, I filmed these in advance because I'm on my way to Korea. If you're not familiar, hit up Twitch. I'm on the live streams, or I will be shortly, and I can fill you in on all of the exciting adventures that await me back in the land of pastries and Ferraris and motorcycles. Anyways, back to the point. Thor Ragnarok is coming. We know, you've seen the trailers. If you haven't, just wait, because we have a reaction for you guys. Before we get into the implications for the game and my predictions, because I wanted to make one of these videos for you guys, and I know how much you guys like thinking about and projecting into the future. What are we going to get? New uniforms, new characters, what, Cynicalex? What do you think is going to happen? We got that ethereal dartboard, and I'm trying to nail it right in the bullseye. So let's check out the reaction to the Thor Ragnarok trailer, and then let's break it down with what could be coming to Marvel Future Fight next.
So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. And then I went on a journey of self-discovery, where I met you.
Love that music. Ooh, the green.
Where are we? You have no idea. Hela, the goddess of death, has invaded Asgard.
Oh, I've missed this.
And you and I had a fight recently.
Did I win?
No, I won, easily.
Doesn't sound right.
Well, that's true.
Asgard is dead. And it'll be reborn in my image. I thought you'd be glad to see me.
I need to stop her here and now to prevent Ragnarok, the end of everything. So I'm putting together a team. Like the old days. Surprise! This will be such fun.
It will be. I think so. She looks so badass.
Hi.
He's a fighter.
Here we go! I'm not a queen or a monster. I'm the goddess of death. What were you the god of again?
We're the same, you and I. Just a couple of hot-headed fools.
Yeah, same. Hulk like fire, Thor like water,
Well, kind of both like fire.
but Hulk like raging fire, Thor like smoldering fire.
Oh shit! What was that? What the fuck was that? Now, there's a lot to unpack from that trailer, so I want to start off with new characters that we both see in the trailer briefly and for a long time that could come to Marvel Future Fight. Conservatively, I would guess 3 new characters, but we could be getting up to 5 new characters, at least from that trailer, not having seen the movie yet. Probably the most guaranteed or the most likely character would be Valkyrie, who we see quite a lot in the trailer, both fighting Hela and, you know, aiding Thor in trying to take back Asgard. Now, Valkyrie is a pretty cool character. She's quite badass, but she doesn't look the same in the movies as she does in the comics, so I would imagine that she would get both her classic and uniform movie counterpart. I don't know which one would be the default and which one would be the uniform, but I could imagine seeing both for her character. She would probably be something along the lines of Sif, perhaps, maybe as a speed type character instead of a combat, because we already have that. But I imagine that she would be pretty fun to play with lots of movement speed and a lot of very cool animations with those swords, almost like the sword wielding version of someone like Elsa, which I'd be very excited for. She might even have a flying horse if that we you know, would be something that we could get. Next up, we are pretty much guaranteed to get a villain from this update. We already have Hela, so we're probably going to get her right hand in this movie, who is Executioner, or Scourge, played by Karl Urban. Now, while he does look very similar to the man that we see in the comics, his counterpart, we would probably get a uniform for him if we are going to get one for Valkyrie, so we could expect a classic look. Perhaps Karl Urban would be the default, and then the more comic booky one would be the uniform, or vice versa. But we should get at least one new villain from this. We already have Surtur in the game and Fenris as World Boss Invasion characters, so we're not going to be getting those as playable types anytime soon. So Executioner is going to be able to fill that void and balance out the update, so it's not just a whole bunch of heroes rushing in to break the parity that the Sinister Six brought in the most recent patch. The last character that I think is pretty likely to see, hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers at least, would be Heimdall. We haven't gotten him in the last couple of updates, but I would really like to see him in the game. He's a pretty badass character, and he's left his post as the elevator man for Asgard, so we could get that kind of classic gold Oscar uniform look from him that he had from the previous movies, and then we could get this new badass Idris Elba kind of Legend of Zelda looking, sword swinging, hobo outfit. I would love a hobo Heimdall. I think he would be a super badass, definitely be universal, and I think it would just be awesome to play as him. Some more rare or less likely characters that we could see from the universe, and one from the trailer. First off, I would say Beta Ray Bill. It's unlikely, but he is very popular in the Asgard kind of Thor core universe, wielding his own kind of Mjolnir. So I think a lot of people would be very happy if we did see Beta Ray Bill. And I myself would like to see how Netmarble animates his kind of horse-looking face. The last character that I think we could see is a bit more under the radar, but it's Korg. It's that blue kind of crystal-looking guy shooting the gun about halfway through the trailer. He looks quite different in the comics, but he's already been featured in a previous Thor movie as a kind of a villain where Thor kind of busts him up into a bunch of rocks. He kind of comes back. He's kind of a good guy. At least he helps out Hulk in the World War Hulk comic run. So that would be really cool to see him in the game, and it might coincide with some good stuff for Hulk. That's all that I have as far as characters go. As far as uniforms go, I have a few ideas, and a few sorely needed ones at that. I think this is kind of the big crux of the Thor Ragnarok update, and what a lot of fans of the game and fans of the Thor universe are really crossing their fingers and hoping for. Because yes, Thor got his unworthy uniform, but he's still lacking. But more than that, there are other characters tied to this movie who are in the dumps right now and who need a push, especially given how powerful they are in the Marvel universe, generally speaking. So first of all, we're probably going to get a new uniform for Thor that's Mjolnir-less. No hammer, just him, that we see towards the end of the trailer where he's crackling lightning. We can call this kind of Ultimate Thor. It's not exactly the same as what we see in the comics, but I would imagine that this Thor would definitely spike his power level up considerably if they're following closely with the movie. And why not? Because short-haired Chris Hemsworth looks a bit like a badass. So, they gave Hobo Spidey his dues with the movie. They did other characters right by their movies. It's time. Thor needs to be a badass, and he needs to be a badass now with Ragnarok. Alternatively, he could get the kind of gladiator Thor look. I don't particularly like it because it does bring back that traditional helmet with the corny little wings, but I would take any kind of update or power bump for Thor at this point. But more importantly than Thor, we have Hulk. And there's a couple of uniforms that Hulk could get from Thor Ragnarok. He could definitely get the Gladiator Hulk uniform. Although it's quite similar to his World War Hulk uniform, it could kind of fix the mistakes and right the wrongs that uniform brought, because World War Hulk is considered one of, if not the strongest example of Hulk, and yet that's one of the worst uniforms in the game for any character. So Gladiator Hulk could be seen as kind of a reboot of the World War Hulk uniform, and it could bring Hulk up to the forefront where he belongs at the top of the meta, or at least, near the peak. Alternatively, we could get the Mark Ruffalo Jerry Beads Hulk, which looks a bit slimmer. He's got that kind of shorter haircut, and he looks, a lot like the actor who's playing him, Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo. a little bit less likely, but at this point, I think Hulk fans and people who want to see Hulk be a powerhouse in the game will take any uniform as long as it makes him, you know, at least 50% stronger. We're talking Hobo Spidey, we're talking Hobo Fist level in terms of jumping from, you know, C grade, B grade up to A plus, S minus range, but he desperately needs something. Another character that desperately needs a uniform and should get one for this update is Hela. If you notice in game, Hela's horns are actually different than the ones that we see in the movie. So that would probably be the biggest kind of crux or the biggest justification for why they should give her a new uniform, because otherwise the uniform is pretty much the same. Lots of the same kinds of greens. We got the cape, we got the kind of helmet thing going on, but the horns change a lot. So given that we could see a new update, we also could see some new reworks of the face. We could get rid of some of the eye makeup to make it look a lot more like Cate Blanchett. I think that would be very, very nice. We could also see a lot of skill changes because we see Hela do some pretty amazing things in the movie. She stops an attack with a spear from Thor, which is pretty badass. She's got that spinning move with all those knives coming out. She's throwing knives in that kind of iconic 80s slow-mo scene. So it could be, you know, a new day for Hela, who is a bit weak right now and could definitely use a bump, especially as the goddess of death, as she so, you know, rightfully crowns herself. Finally, for uniforms, I think that Loki deserves a uniform. He's been kind of left on the back burner for a while now. He's fallen far behind the meta, and his shtick of using clones just really doesn't work anymore. And it's really exciting to see him using a different type of weapon. We don't have the scepter anymore. We see him wielding 2 knives. That's probably one of the more iconic Loki scenes from this Thor Ragnarok trailer and other trailers before. And it could bring about a new kind of playstyle for Loki that doesn't rely on clones, that doesn't rely on just kiting and kind of boring repetitive gameplay. He could have some new iframes. He could deal a lot more damage himself and not relying on clones. And he could become a real threat again for, you know, one of the top characters that at least starters begin with. And it could be time again to invest in a Loki uniform, because right now even getting Lady Loki uniform doesn't really make sense anymore as far as the power level and the power creep has dictated. Overall, I think that the Thor Ragnarok update has the most potential for existing characters. You know, Thor, Hulk, Loki, and Hela, none of them are at the top or even near the top of the meta, but all 4 of them are heavy favorites, fan favorites, very iconic characters in the Marvel universe, and they all deserve to be at a higher power level in this game than they currently are. I am very excited for new characters like Valkyrie and others that I've discussed, but I think there's a really big piece of potential and a really nice spot that Netmarble will be in when the Thor Ragnarok movie hits, or just before, to right the wrongs and buff up these characters the way that they deserve to be buffed. Okay, we need more from Ragnarok. So hopefully someone's listening, and hopefully I've touched on everything that you guys want to see from Ragnarok as far as what comes out of the movie and gets put into the game. Let me know if there's anything else that I'm missing. Let me know what you would add from Ragnarok if you want to add in the Collector's Brother, or you want to add something else along those lines. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.